We're standing here at Woodfield, which is the birthplace of Michael Collins. He was born here in 1890. He was the youngest of 8 siblings, actually. He had seven siblings. The old house behind us is where we think he was born, and here to the right is the newer house, which was built when Michael Collins was about 9 years of age. Collins's mother came from just up the road here in Sam's Cross, and she married Michael John Collins, who was at least the 6th generation of Collinses who farmed this ground here. Indeed, they had some cousins farming a plot just up the road. Michael John lived here with his 2 brothers, Paddy and Tom. And when Mary Ann O'Brien married in, she obviously had to, she became the woman of the house for all 3 of those men. Collins's father then, they went on to have 8 children, 3 boys, 5 girls. Collins was the youngest of those children, and his father died when he was quite young, so much of his care kind of devolved on his father was a considerably older man, so that's why he died when Collins was quite young. He was a good bit older than Mary Ann. Now, much of the care of Collins devolved on his younger siblings, his older siblings rather. He was particularly close to 2 of his sisters, Kate and Helena, and they seem to have had a big role in his upbringing. The Collins family were quite wealthy as farmers at the time went, so the origins of Collins, when you look at them now, they might seem quite humble by our standards, but by the standards of their time, the Collinses were reasonably well off. They were certainly better off than a lot of the labouring families that would have surrounded them. Mary Ann O'Brien, or Mary Ann Collins as she became, was particularly interested in education. She obviously saw this as a way forward for her family, and her family were very well educated, including Collins himself. Many of the family went on to be civil servants. One of them entered the religious orders. One of them immigrated, became a police officer in America, and indeed there was a teacher in the family as well. So they were very well educated family, and it seems that Mary Ann O'Brien placed a high value on formal education at that time. Across the road from us here is Knockfeen Hill, which seems to have been a big part of Collins's youth. Certainly when he came back here in 1921, having signed the treaty, his brother told of how the 2 of them climbed the hill on Christmas morning, and Collins was supposed to have said that he saw more of Ireland from on top of that hill than he had seen in the previous 15 years. The house next to us, the newer house, was burned in 1921, and this site was derelict and abandoned for a lot of years until some local landowners gave it to Collins's nephew to do up, and the site was done up in the 80s and officially opened as an OPW site in the early 90s.